Welcome into another episode of the Meethead Manual. I am one of the hosts, your immediate meatball round, Mr. Adam Garcia. With me as always, my good friend, my good buddy, my compadre, my compatriot, Mr. Andrew Harris.
What's going on, people?
Alrighty. Oh man, a lot of stuff has happened in the past week. I went and handled one of my clients at his meet yesterday. We went and did the Kent Pendleton USPA meet at Ironmonger's gym. Ironmonger's, great gym. Yeah, really.
That was where I did my first competition.
Oh, really?
Ironmonger's, yeah.
Which one was it?
It was a USPA event.
Yes. That's what I want to get into.
So speaking of USPA,
for those of you that are USPA lifters or have lifted with the USPA, I've always just had a very not so great taste in my mouth when it comes to USPA meets.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because, and one thing I can get behind is adherence to strict rules. If you're going to be strict, be it like ABS. Yes, I've noticed that when it comes to most USPA meets, or the ones that I've been at, I've been a part of, or I worked at as a coach, or even just been as a spectator. The judging has always been very inconsistent. I remember once when I was competing, it was a USPA meet. I think it was the first, if I'm not mistaken, it was the first West Coast Classic. It was USPA. We showed up and like after the meet, we came to find out that one of the judges actually posted on her Instagram before going to you remember this?
Yeah, you tell us.
She posted on her Instagram, getting ready to ruin people's days.
Yeah,
for her judging, and it's like, all right, man, if you're gonna go there and just red light people just because you feel like you want to red light people, and then mind you, she doesn't squat to that standard at all. But it doesn't matter. We're gonna keep that away. It doesn't matter. But I've always been very wary of USPA meets. I've always been under the impression that they are just absurdly strict. But when it comes to others that maybe either have a following or they're lifting bigger weight, they tend to kind of throw a little bit of leniency at them. Whereas at least for the ABS meet, and you can attest to this too, didn't matter who you were. If you weren't getting down there, sorry, that's red light right there. But not that, again, I want to reiterate, that doesn't put any type of bad light towards ironmongers.
Yeah, they always throw good meets.
Yeah,
they bring in different federations to give lifters different opportunities. The gym, you can't blame them. They're just trying to provide opportunities for lifters. That's all that we ask for as competitors and coaches, is we just get the opportunity to compete. You can't help who the meet director is and then who the judges are. That's beyond your control. And USPA, they've had a rough few years, between the scandals, everything that's happened there, and then you have a little more experience with them, but the inconsistent judging, that'll make people not want to compete.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Now, the biggest thing that I will say that was very, very. To me, it wasn't so strange. So I was surprised pleasantly. Most USPA meets are very. Let me back up. Sorry, on the untested side, USPA meets are very hard to fill. They just are.
Yeah.
I think this one was drug tested, so that might have been a little bit of a variable that caused it. But this meet was long, dude. Yeah. 4 flights, and my client, and Mo was in flight D, but middle flight D the whole time, and it was there were times that we were just kind of sitting around, and then, but the issue was that started looking, I was I can't find this on Lifting Cast. They didn't have it on Lifting Cast. So like us trying to judge or gauge the timing to like warm people up, it was
Really?
it was dude, it was a
So they didn't have it on lifting cast?
no.
Why?
No, I don't know. We were like sitting there, we were looking at the rosters on like the paper rosters to see where they at in like for first flight or like for first attempts and stuff. And then
That's strange.
after that, it was like I was having to run up to the board and because it wasn't on lifting cast,
Yeah.
I was like having to jump over to the other side where the judges were because I don't know if it's maybe because of my aging or something, but I can't see very well anymore. And so I'm like trying to stare. But it's like, it's also too, it might just be that it was a fairly small TV tucked away in a back upper corner of the ceiling.
Yeah.
But like, I was like staring at the fucking TV. I was like, what? That either says Mo or that says blood. I don't know what that says. So I would have to run over to the judges table, stare at the TV to see how far people were. And I was like, I became like the unofficial person to tell like other coaches how far their clients were at.
Yeah.
Like looking at them, 2 out, 2, 3. Now. Like there's this one dude, poor guy, man. I could tell it was either his first time competing or it was like his first time in this federation. He was missing. He was missing cues to get up to the thing. Like there's ones where they were like, I'm not going to drop names or anything, but they were like, this person, we need you at the thing. They're like calling on the intercom, this person, we need you on the platform. Your first attempt is up. And he's like running. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. And it's like his girlfriend, if it's either his girlfriend or his wife was like handling all his numbers and she was stressed out the whole time. It wasn't until the very end that I looked at, because I was busy as it is, but once I paid attention, I looked at her, I was like, you stand there and I will put my hand up as to tell you what number he's in. And she's like, that helped out immensely. Thank you. I was like, I got you. But like, we had a little bit of a rough go, which is something that we can go into with this, which is our topic for today, which is this is going to be hold on to your seatbelts, fellas. It's
ladies, there's some.
Sorry,
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Hold on to your seatbelts. It's a mindset episode. It's a fucking mindset episode. So, and the reason why I bring that up is because we had a tough go of it. That's my client. His name is Lennon. Lennon Como. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. But I call him Big Mo, or that everyone calls him Mo, or I call him Mosif Stalin. That's just what I call him. That's my own little personal nickname for him. And Mo, if you're listening to this, because I know you are, I love you. He did great, but his first attempt, he got red lighted for depth, and then he tried to sink his second attempt. He got a little push forward, misgrew. And for anyone that has been in that position, I know I have, where you're staring down the barrel of a possible bomb out. I can tell you right now, it's not fun because you're sitting there and you're going, I have one last chance.
Yep. Is it
one last chance? And luckily, it was me, Maddie, and Ray. That was another thing too. Ray was a huge. Our friend Ray. Ray works the front desk over at
Ray Mysterio.
No,
not Ray Mysterio.
No, not Ray Mysterio.
No.
Actually, I think if you called him that, he'd be very upset. But our friend Ray, who works the front desk at STS Performance, he's one of the managers there. He came in to help handle and kind of support Mo during the time. He was a huge help during this whole thing. And but like me, Ray, Maddie, and even Keith got in his face, and we really got into him, dug deep into him, and he nailed it. He executed. But it's like
that messes with you.
It really does. Like if you don't get your opener, it plays in your head the whole time.
I've been there. That was my Vegas competition. Mm-hmm. No, didn't hit my first 2 squats, so down my last one. It's just like, all right. And got it, but it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like...
mentally, because you're just like, fuck, I don't get this. Like, I did all this for nothing.
Exactly. I mean, it's like... And also, too, because there are going to be people that are going to listen to this and be like, well, just because you DQ on squats doesn't mean you can't just not continue on with the thing.
But you can.
You can. You absolutely can. But for me, I would be like... if I bombed out, which is what I did, actually, if anything, and I may not be proud of it right now, but like, well, after I bombed out, I literally packed my stuff up and left. I was like, in my head, I was like, there's no point in me fucking staying.
Yeah, because you get out of your mental space where you need to be in for it, and then it's also like, why risk injury?
Exactly.
Because it's like, at that point, you're just doing it for your own ego.
And it's also, too, it's like, you can be like, well, I didn't prep this whole time to not do something. True. I'll give you that. However, you also realize that those numbers aren't going to be put onto open powerlifting. Those numbers aren't really going to count.
Oh, you're getting, what was it, DNQ or something like that?
Yeah.
Something like that? Yeah.
It'll just put, they'll put DQ'd on your roster. And that's all it is. And so in my head, I was like, there's no point. And strangely enough, the meet I bombed out at was a USPA meet. So let's keep it at that. But yeah, so when it comes to, because you can show up to the gym and you can put together an amazing peak, amazing prep and peak. You can do all this stuff. And I've seen it happen. I've seen a lot of athletes show up on meet day ready to go. Hard cocked, ready to go, and just eat it.
Yeah.
Eat it on either squat or bench, right? And it's like the mental of it, of getting there, and like you not hitting your opener, and then sitting there and being like, I've hit that weight.
Yeah.
So many times.
That's why I'm a big fan, especially with inexperienced lifters, people who haven't. Or somebody who hasn't gone and done a competition in a while, like you go light for your first one and then make a big jump for your second one, just to get that first squat out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that because it's like, especially new lifters, if it's your first competition or even your second, you don't know how you're going to always perform on the platform. When you get out in front of everybody, when you get to the point where you got to follow the commands, do everything.
Yeah.
You don't know. So it's like, and a lot of people have nerves around it. They have anxiety around it. So it's like getting that first squat out of the way, getting it a good lift, just kind of eases everybody's like anxiety around everything.
Yeah.
And it kind of like gets, all right, let's get that momentum going. Mm-hmm. And then we can make a bigger jump for the second one. And the third one will be but yeah, like there's a lot of people struggle with that. Man.
But the point of the whole thing is that, and at least on my end where I've had this happen, is I hit my, I don't get my opener, and then I get in my head. And if I don't get my second, I'm sitting there and I'm going,
pressure's on. The
pressure's on, but I know myself well enough to know that my brain does this. You still think you're good? Like, this is, look at what you've done. Yeah, I thought you were so, look how much money you spent for this.
Yeah.
And this is how you're going to do this, right?
And this is how you're going to show up, huh?
Yeah, this is how you're going to show up. This is how you're going to do it. You're just going to come in and just,
it's not going to work.
Just soft.
No matter how much play with it.
Just soft noodle it, dude. Yeah. You're going to whiskey dick that shit. Like, luckily, whenever I have this, and like, because it's like, it's different during training. In training, if you fuck up, it's like, all right, we live to train.
We'll show them. Yeah.
But it's like game day, being able to sit and just like really like focus in and realize like it is time for me to do exactly shut up and lift. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's as the hard part as a coach is you can't lift it for them. You can't get in their head for them.
I know.
All you can do is get them as prepped as possible, and like that's it.
And also too, and which is something that actually got that I've always done since the time I got into CETC, and I saw Gracie do. And Gracie's crazy.
Yeah,
she was crazy, but but there was something that I remember, and it was a lot of people talked about this, because I'll be honest with you, when it comes to the last meet we did, the ABS meet, I remember most of it. But I don't remember some of the things, but I remember the most. What I remember the most is Max and Jen telling me, like, well, one, Max told me the most outlandish shit. He goes, what are you, fucking pussy? Huh? You any pussy? Huh? You fucking stand up and fucking do it. Don't be a bitch. And I was like, I'm sitting there like, but then like, then you got Jen, who's like, I am so proud of you. You have done so much. You have strove to be here. This is your time. And I'll just sit there and be like, it is my time. It is my time. And lo and behold, I'm bricked the fuck up.
Yeah, just hard.
Yeah, fine. But like, with that being said, it's like it takes people in your corner to be like, to kind of have to like fan the flame and get that shit going. I mean, like, by all means, if you're gonna be like fucking Spartan 300 this shit, and King Leonidas would be like, I am here by myself, I'm just gonna go out and do it. Hey man,
more power to you. But yeah, no, it helps having some people in your corner being there for you. You know, it definitely helps. Like, what was it, the USA Peel one that was most recent at STS? Mm-hmm. That one kid that was there by himself, I think, when he went 0 for 9.
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember? Or were you even there? I don't know if you were.
The last USAPO meet, I was there for a little bit, because I think Jenny was
yeah.
So I was there for
Yeah, some guy went 0 for 9.
Whoa.
I just had no clue what he was doing the whole time.
Whoa. There was a couple of people at the meet that were like that as well.
Like, damn, that's brutal.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
0 for 9, like,
that's bad.
Bro, you need to hire a coach or something.
But also, too, it's like, if you go 0 for 9, if you go in and you go 0 for 9, at one point, at some point, I stopped thinking that, you know what, it's your first time, you probably don't know. I started to look at you and go, did you not look at the rules at all? Like, did you just sign up and then go, I'm just going to do it?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know, but yeah. But you see those time to time, those people that show, they just have no clue what they're doing, what's going on.
Oh yeah, no. There's this one dude who was there. Oh yeah, seriously. And it's like, it's hard to watch, because it's like, you're sitting there.
You want to do something, but also like, you know, like, you can overstep and offend people pretty easily.
Oh, absolutely. It's also too, if like, I hate to say it, because I've seen this before. There was one guy who showed up and handled his, there was one guy who was there. I'm not going to name names because I actually know him as a coach. Yeah. But he showed up, it was at a Mongers meet. He was coaching this one girl through her meet, and she bombed out, and it was because he just didn't know, like, he didn't understand. Like, he was like, she's squatting to depth. I'm like, no, she's not. She's like that much away from depth, bro. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Like, and it's like, it's not like you can help that, because it's like, if you walk up to that client, you're just like, hey, do this and this, and you might actually like butt coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Soft knees, and
but you got a coach there. It's kind of like, you don't want to overstep some boundaries.
But at the same time, you're also sitting there and you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? You pay this guy?
So you want to hire me? I could do a lot better for you.
Yeah. And it'll be cheaper, because I've noticed that there are some people who actually do coach, and they charge. They're like, I charge this much. I'm like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why do you do that? Why do you?
Yeah. But speaking of coaches, reminds me this one time. This was actually
Really?
And she came for her, and she literally walked out like a crab walk. Like literally like this, walking sideways.
What? Why?
I don't know if she had a coach or what that told her to do that, but we were all like, what is this?
Okay. So I'm not understanding. So this is during the posing part, and she's up there by herself?
By herself. So they come out, everybody comes out, they do they come to the center stage, you do some poses, and then you go to the side. So she walks out like crab walk, like this, walking sideways, not because normally you kind of walk one foot in front of the other, doing the kind of the sexy walk,
yeah,
and then you stop in the center, you do poses. Now she was literally facing the head judges the whole time, facing out in front of the stage the whole time she walked to the center stage, just So with that story, get a good coach. It's just please, no matter what you're trying to do, get a coach. You can look online and see if your coach is telling you the correct stuff too.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy to see.
And also too. So okay, let's go down the list. All right, and we'll go back to the topic after this. But let's go down the list. The first one is, if you don't get yourself a coach. If you don't want to get yourself a coach, understand the rules and the guidelines of the federation, of the meet that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay. If you can do at least that, then you should be fine. And if you don't want to even do that because you're I really don't want to read, which by the way is, if you want to do that, okay, you're beta as fuck. It's okay, come on, dude.
Not hard. It's only a few pages.
My first time ever competing, it was USAPL, and I read that rule book.
Yeah.
Until I got bored. But I read everything that was in the USPA book as well as the USAPL book, so I knew what I was walking into. And if you don't want to do that, the last thing you can do is find anyone who's had experience with competition, with competing, and just talk to them.
Yeah.
Ask them questions. Hey, what do I need? What is this? What is this? What is this? And if they're good enough, they'll be like, yeah, I can handle you at your fucking meet. So make sure that I can actually get you at least successful.
Yeah.
But again, going back into our topic, we got sidetracked, and that's okay. I had fun. But there comes a huge level of mental grit that comes with, because it's in a sense, with life, you kind of find yourself in, obviously life is a big pendulum swing. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have swings from the bad and into the good. With powerlifting, there's so many variables to mitigate, but when it comes to your actual game day, it'll show a sense of mental fortitude and your grit as a person to be able to kind of take those take those metaphorical L's and be able to kind of go, nope, out of that brain, in present, we're gonna go hit this now, right? Because if you can do that, strangely enough, you can actually apply that to your everyday life.
Yeah.
Right? If you know that nothing is going well in your life, the least you can do is be present, shove out all the bad nonsense, be present, and realize, okay, this is a learning stone, but we'll get through this.
And then I heard this recently, and I realized, okay, but just having that mindset of everything's going to be okay. No matter what, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy how much the mind can limit you, which is what I wanted to get into with a study I heard about recently. The limitations of the mind, or its ability to push past limitations if you believe in yourself, if you believe in things. So, because I've seen it so many times, you know, like I've had to trick lifters into not knowing how much they're lifting so they can lift the weight. And then when they do it, it's like, oh, that was easy. I'm like, yeah, but just last week you struggled with it because you knew how much you were lifting. This week you didn't know and you lifted like it was nothing. So it's like the mind. Yeah.
I saw you do that.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but now you said that, I saw you training with one of your clients and you didn't tell him what.
Yeah, I was like, don't worry about the weight.
Just don't worry about it. Just go in there. And he did it. Yeah. And he did it. And you were like, no, you didn't hit that last
hit a PR. Easy. Yeah.
And he was like, oh.
but the mind, if you put limitations on yourself, your mind will hold you to that. But there's no reason to. You can also believe in something greater, and your mind will do that, and your body will do that. So the study I wanted to get into was this interesting Stanford study. I can't remember the name of the doctors, but it was done a few years ago. But basically, it was about learning your genetic, like being told a genetic disposition, and like be able to push past it. So the study was they took two groups of people, and they did genetic testing on these people, and what they went in and they were trying to see there's a genetic differentiation with certain people who have better lung capacity, and so basically those people are better predisposed to being better athletes in, like, say, marathons, stuff like that. So
I remember you saying that because you were telling me about this beforehand, earlier before we got into this. It was like their ability and their capacity to be able to utilize oxygen and create CO2 or something like CO2.
Be able to process CO2 faster.
Okay.
So they could get it out of their system a lot faster, get more oxygen into their body, and perform better. So what the researchers did is, so they took two groups of people, they split up the people with this genetic variation into the two groups, 50-50. And then they put in normal people. So what they did with group A, they told them that everybody in this group has this genetic trait. Group B, everybody in this group doesn't have the genetic trait, even though there was 50% of the people that did have it in both groups.
Gotcha. So there was it was random in the sense that there was participants of that.
So the participants didn't know the actual genetic results.
See, okay. Yes.
They were just told by the researchers, you had this genetic trait or you didn't.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but there were people with and without in each group.
Okay.
So they had them do physical tests, to be able to get the results. I can't remember exactly what it was. I don't think it says in the study. It says in the study stuff. But basically, what they found is the group A, the people that they told had this genetic marker, all performed better than group B. So the people with and without the genetic trait perform people even with the genetic trait that is supposed to give them an advantage.
Yeah.
In these tests.
And it was just simply because they were told you don't have the advantage.
The placebo effect.
Yeah.
Like we hear all the time placebo effect on stuff. Like there's always this, when you're given something and you're told this, there's that belief that you can do it, and then your body does it. Yeah. Even though you shouldn't have been able to. So the placebo effect. So this has many different meanings. So it was also the purpose was to kind of figure out for cancer research, being able to tell a cancer patient hey, if you do this, you're gonna get better, and that's kind of the idea. Eventually, getting into it is you can tell people they're gonna get better, and it's gonna help them.
Yeah.
But when it comes to now lifting, because we hear this sometimes, is oh, you're built for squats.
Yeah.
And then like, that's all you focus on. Or like, oh, you have long arms for deadlifts. And like, yes, there are some genetic traits in powerlifting that make you better for certain lifts. But if that's your mindset going into it, then that is going to be what results come out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I've definitely, I can level with that in a sense that from just my personal life, in a sense that like, so, small story. I used to work at California Link Training Center back in 2019-ish time. There is these two Russian lifters. One Russian lifter. Actually, I don't think they're Russian at all. I think they're from fucking Azerbaijan.
Somewhere.
Eastern Europe. It was Mariana Gasparian and her husband. And I remember talking to Sergey, and I told you this story.
Yeah.
I was talking to Sergey, and he was telling me about this other lifter. He was like, this lifter, she has so much talent, but does nothing, no hard work.
Yeah.
And the moment he said that, he looks at me because he's standing like right in front of me. And then he goes, but you have no talent, none, no talent in this. You have no talent. Now, mind you, he said it like 5 times. No talent. Talent, no talent. Big X, no talent. But he goes, but you work hard. And that is what makes you good. I've always kind of just like, ever since then, I've always subconsciously kept that with me. And it's so funny because it's like, after you told me about this, I kind of started like thinking about it and really kind of like seeing where, because like there are times where I've like hit something and been like, it's not the best, but I mean, hey, it's better for a guy.
I'm supposed to.
In my head, I was like, better than a guy, with no talent in this, I just work hard. And it's like, strangely enough, how that in itself can just magically put a cap on what I thought I was able to possibly do. And here I am now staring down the barrel of a 2,100 pound total. And I'm like, I think I'm actually pretty fucking talented.
Might just be more than just hard work.
Yeah, but that's so interesting. So that's really interesting.
Yeah. So, but I don't know if you've noticed this, but like you can tell when people put limits on themselves and they say, "Well, I'm just not built for this." You hear that, and you know that like they just probably wouldn't go very far. Yeah. But you have those people who are, call it blind ignorance, dumb, whatever. Those people who just like, I'm doing whatever the fuck I can do, and they just show up and like perform, like like how man to be able to do this.
You mean Andrew Harris? You mean Andrew Harris? Fucking hospital. One of my friends went a whole peak pulling sumo and then went onto his meet day and just pulled conventional and absolutely bodied a 632 fucking deadlift. I didn't see that coming at all. That's still one of the best. It's the truth, though. Yeah, it's like it is the biggest. Example of exactly what you were just talking about, which is you've never put limits on yourself. You've always looked at everything. In the time that I've known you, you've always looked at something and been like, let's go, let's do it, let's do it. And I've always admired that about you because it's like it's not so much that you're so blindly confident or even arrogant. It's just you have a rest assured notion of yourself. And that's something that a lot of people struggle trying to find. You know what I'm saying? I would like to say that's probably the big thing with life experience and the fact that you have 23-inch arms. And unfortunately, well, those are fucking. But
we'll get to 20 before.
You feel either way, they feel warm in an embrace. We're going to turn the cameras off real quick. But so you would be the main point of this whole thing, and the point that we're trying to make is you'd be surprised how just a little bit of belief in yourself is going to push you in not just the sport, but just in any real life. Yeah. And like this is something that I'm still learning to this day. And that is having to not only advocate for myself, but to show up for myself, right?
Yeah.
And that means that when, when the going gets tough, every day is different. When that time comes, you go, hey man, hey, you're doing great. I know it doesn't seem it. I know it seems pretty dark right now, but hey, you're doing fantastic and you're doing the best that you can. And that's all you really can do. It's time to push it. It's time to stand up and start trying. Strangely enough, you'd be surprised how many times you have to tell people, try.
Yeah, it's I don't know. People get complacent. I almost say get complacent. People like easy
and comfort.
And
it's scary to fail.
It's scary to fail. And that's something that's always interesting. It's like not just people are scared to fail. People are scared to succeed.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of responsibility that comes with succeeding.
Yeah.
So I think it's easy for us to say that people are scared to fail. I think that's a pretty, common belief. Well, yeah, I don't like failing. Nobody likes failing. But there's also what happens when I succeed? What happens when I do good?
And now I have to, that's it. And it's
be better.
Yeah. Now I have to do better. Or now that the level is set, the expectation is clear now. I have to rise to that expectation and continue on. And then, not to mention, as you get more successful, there are going to be people that are going to be around you that also rely on you to show up and do what you need to do in order to push it even further. And it's like, that becomes overwhelming because you're sitting there and you're like, I didn't even want to get out of bed today. But again, it's one of those things where you have to take a step back, to be present, just kind of look at everything and go, hey man, ain't this a wild ride?
It's like crazy.
It's crazy because it's like, if you think about it, I think about it, over the span of my almost 34 years of living, I've had a multitude of friends pass away.
Yeah.
And I think about, I'll be sitting in my room, I'll be sitting in my living room, I'll even be sitting in my office getting ready to go and see patients. And I'll be sitting there and be like, man, this sucks. Everything sucks. It's so expensive. Everything's all messed up, Yeah. But then I'll sit there and I'll go, hey, I bet you anything Corey would like to experience this again. Yeah. You know what I mean? My other friend, would have liked to at least seen the outside of high school and experience a little bit of this. And then once that happens, I go, fuck, you're right. I'm being a bitch. Let's fucking keep going. Let's fucking keep it up. Because it's a lot of people end up taking for granted, even just having the fact that they have access and availability to both hands, all 10 fingers and all 10 toes. And you can touch your face with both hands unassisted. That's crazy. I remember I was talking to someone and they were telling me that they were like, oh, well, I have some, whatever issues and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm feeling down on myself. And I looked at them and was like, yeah, I worked with a guy just 2 days ago who had a stroke and he was 3 months post-stroke, right? Which means 3 months ago, he was doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
You're walking around, you're doing your thing, and then bam, you're 3 months into
it. Hits you across the face.
Yeah. And you're 3 months into one side of your body not working.
Yeah.
Because it's
could happen.
It sucks. And he was like, but hey man, the guy, he's doing better. He's doing okay. But it's stuff like that. You start to go, all right. It could get worse.
It could. Yeah.
It could absolutely get worse.
Yeah.
Especially with prison. Let's not get into that.
Might get bricked up talking about prison there. Yeah. No, it's easy to go down that rabbit hole of this sucks and everything. Like you said, life experience, you can really either learn a lot from it and grow, or it can really take you down. I had to do a recent project for my one of my classes, my writing class. We had to do a slideshow of our life.
Really?
And also we had to write an essay, like basically timeline of everything, things you learned throughout your life. So I'm in a college class. Most of these kids are, 20. I haven't really experienced much. And I'm like going through everything, and I'm like, I'm only halfway through, and I've written more than most. But like going back and like remembering, I've done some shit. Like I've been through some stuff.
You've seen war.
Yeah,
that's one thing. You've seen war.
Yeah,
it's not like one. It's not like a. Hey, I joined the military. You saw war. That should have been like that much of your report. So like, it's like everyone else was like, yeah. So I was like,
I had a girlfriend in high school. I got my heart broken.
Yeah. And that taught me some pretty good, how to persevere through adversity. I used to play football. I used to play this, and you're just like, I was shot at.
Well, like I was literally deployed with the Medal of Honor recipient. Guy received the Medal of Honor during deployment. Michael Mansour.
Really? You deployed with him?
Yeah.
Dude, that's sick.
Well, I mean, he's not alive anymore,
but still, though, it's still cool. Did you ever get a chance to meet him?
Yeah.
What was that like?
He's like every other team guy out there,
but still,
like you don't know that he's going to do something like that when you meet them.
I know, but like after you found out that what happened and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You remember, let's like take for instance, okay, let's be honest. Yeah. I've had moments where I've met people and like they go off and do like some pretty crazy things. And I just remember being like, oh yeah, that person, they were an asshole. No, not speaking ill of the dead. I apologize. I'm not saying anything.
No. Yeah.
I'm just, and most of the people I'm talking about are alive still. Yeah. So
no, I've actually been thinking about this, more. I was having a conversation with somebody I was on a date on last night. Yes, I was on a date.
Let's go into that.
Hold on. I was having a conversation. We were talking about I didn't really even fully comprehend the importance of what I was doing. 'Cause I was 19.
Yeah.
When I first stepped ground into the sandbox.
Yeah.
I didn't have an idea of I didn't have a clue. I was like, yeah, told to go here. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so I don't think I fully understood and appreciated everything that was going on until later on.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to think about
Well, I mean, probably as a 19-year-old and 20-year-old, you learn how to compartmentalize something. You put it in a box, you put it in your head, and then here you are 20 years later. You're 20 years later, you're like, oh, well, that's coming up again. Why is that coming up? Like I like you. I'm not like you. I was 24, 25 when I deployed. And, we saw some stuff out there. And then, when I came back, it wasn't until about 30, 31, 32 that I started being like, oh yeah, we're not supposed to see stuff like that. You're not supposed to.
That's not normal.
That's not normal. You know what I mean? And it's and mind you, I'm fully aware to say that I did not experience half of what you did. Where I experienced was off of the coast of Libya, and I was on a boat.
But what I say about that though is whatever's the worst thing you've been through is the worst thing you've been through.
That's true.
You can't compare what somebody else has done because your experiences are your experiences and whatever you went through was the worst thing you've been through in your life.
Exactly.
And whatever I've been through is what I've been through. And you can't compare. That's something that I learned, especially when dealing with younger people, because they they'll freak out about things that you're like, it doesn't matter. But they're but for them it does because that might be their worst day.
Well, yeah. So that was actually what I was going to ask you is, so when because you had to present this, right?
No, I haven't presented it yet. Well, we do next Sunday. So
I would love to hear how that goes because it's one thing to where it's like, because I was when I first started college, I was 27, 28 years old. You know what I mean? So it's like the people that I was in class with were like 18, 19, just got out of fucking high school. I was sitting there, I'm like, dude, not the same. Guys, I don't even know what you guys are even saying right now. I can't relate to anything you guys are even talking about. So I would really like to hear how that goes, even from the teacher standpoint, because I remember talking about some stuff that like when I deployed, and my like teacher, like usually whenever people like hear other people talk, especially teachers, they'll just like continue to do stuff. And then I started talking about like when I went on deployment, like my teacher had like stopped everything and just turned and looked at me and just like, and I was like, just talking. In my head, I was like, this is what happened, and this happened, and then this happened, and then we went and we operated, and then we went and fucking did that, and then came, and then we came back. And I just look at people like, it was great though.
I was like to casually like throw in like, oh yeah, things have been a part of and made into movies, no big deal.
That is sick. So that is sick. I gotta be honest with you, that's pretty fucking cool. I did remember once though. There's one thing when I was on deploy, I was like barely into the military, and like I was really into trying to get into special warfare. Our weapons, our weapons officer, I think that's what he was called. He was former SWIC, and then became
an officer.
And I remember being like, I wanted to get into SWIC. My father-in-law was in SWIC. He was in class 2. Yeah, OG. But like I told him, I was like, what was it like? Blah, blah, blah. It was like, sometimes it was some of the most horrendous times of my life. And we did some stuff, and we went and we cruised around, we operated, and we shot some pretty big guns, and we did some pretty cool stuff. And I was like, that's fucking cool, man. And he went, how is that cool?
Yeah.
And I went, I'm going to go over here. Completely walked away from the situation. I remember too, because he was super weirded out by me after that. Because I told him, I was like, dude, it's so cool that you were in SWIC. And he was like, why is that cool? And I went,
he's one of those G guys, like that, yeah.
Dude, but with that being said, it's like going back to our original point. It's like, life experiences and things that teach us different how we cope with things as well. You know what I mean? And also too, and this is for just my advice to others, and I mean, I honestly need to take that my own advice as well, is that like, understand too, is that like, as you get older, you're no longer like, I remember my brother-in-law telling me something that I was like, I still think about it to this day. He goes, man, I remember when I was younger, 18, 19 years old, stuff could happen and I just let it roll off my back. But now I feel like a pressure cooker sometimes, you know what I mean? And it's like, and it's because when you're 18, 19, even 20 years old, you can compartmentalize and take stuff and store stuff away in the iCloud known as your brain for a good amount of time, right? But then as you get older, you can't do that as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's multiple things with that. I think one, you can only bottle up so much, you only have so much capacity to bottle up things and not actually deal with them. So like at some point it's going to spill out. You're going to have to go and like, all right, I got to deal with the shit that I've been bottling up forever.
Yeah.
But I think too, also there's the inevitable realization that, you only have so much time left. When you're 20, you're like, whatever, I got the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Shit happens, whatever, I got the rest of my life. As you get older, you start to realize, okay, I don't have the rest of my life. I only have this many years where I'm like really good, and then who knows from there.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple different things there. They have the realization that like time is limited, and like everything that happens has a little bit more of a effect.
Exactly.
On you. And then too, if you don't deal with things, and you just bottle it up like we tend to do.
Yeah.
As men, we tend to bottle things up, and like we're fine. And we don't deal with it, and then eventually it comes blow up.
Yeah, it comes back in different ways. You like as a young man, I was definitely whoa, that was crazy. That's crazy.
That was crazy.
We're
cool.
Keep on going.
Let's go drink.
That's weird. But then, like, now I'm starting to like, as I've gotten older, things kind of just like push out in certain ways. You know what I mean? Like, if I can be honest, like if I know that some stressful stuff is happening, my first thought in my head goes, why is this happening? Why? Yeah. Like, can I just get a break? And then I realize I'm like, that's because you're holding on to some stuff.
Yeah.
So my advice to all of you is therapy. Go and talk to someone.
Or have somebody, have a friend, have somebody that you can just say the things that are on your mind with. Like, I'm sure you have your wife that I'm sure that you go to for a lot.
No, she berates me. She is a menace. I want everyone to know that that's how she. No, she absolutely is. She's very patient. She's probably she's very present whenever I'm talking, and she just listens. She's a beautiful soul that lady is, but yeah.
So you have that person, because I went to therapy and I didn't have the greatest experience. So you don't necessarily need a therapist. They're there as a tool if you need it.
Yes.
But I think more of what we need, especially we'll come from a man's point.
Yes.
We need more times where we're just us men, and we get out and we're like just bullshitting. Yeah. And then like no one else is around, don't have to worry about putting on a show for women or anything like that. And we can just be ourselves. And I think that's when stuff like this comes out. I'm like, hey man, I'm dealing with this and I don't know what to do.
Yeah. You can, sorry, you continue.
Oh yeah. And then I heard this. So if you're in like a really bad situation, all it takes is 8 minutes with a person, and like you can often work yourself out of that really bad mindset.
Yeah, just like all you need is 6 minutes of a hug to feel better.
Yeah,
but
so have that person that you can call and be like, hey, I just need 8 minutes, man.
Yeah, everyone needs a person that they can. And I've always told people this is that like. I always want to be the person that, even if it's just for a minute, I'll sit in the mud with you.
Yeah.
You need people that can sit in the mud with you. And I implore most men to understand that, okay, you're not a pussy for being able to open up and tell a friend. And if your friend makes you feel like a pussy, then drop that friend. You're not a pussy for being vulnerable and opening up about like the things that you've experienced in your life and that you just need to get off your chest, even if it's something that's bothering you that week and that day and it's running you down. It's also too, and because it still gets used to this day, it's not gay either. You're not gay just because you decide to look at a friend and go, hey man, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I'm here if you want to talk. I can sit in the mud with you metaphorically and just deal with the stuff with you and just be present with you if that's what you want.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. And we as you were saying, we as men in this society need to be able to look at each other and just say, hey man, I'm here with you.
Yeah. Well, so I think that's part of the problem is this definition of what people think is masculinity, what men are. Mm-hmm. And real men are able to emotionally regulate.
Yeah.
That's true masculinity. So being able to emotionally regulate means like, hey, like I need to talk about this with somebody, right? Because I know that I'm going down a path that I may not come back from.
Yeah.
So, it's that masculinity to go, hey bro, I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
And that is masculine.
Yes.
It's not masculine to lose your temper, lose control, get angry, like throw a fit, whatever. That is not masculinity. Or it's not masculine to just bottle everything up and be emotionless.
Yeah. Because
now you're not regulating your emotions. You're completely shutting them off. That is not masculine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the the old adage of, hey man, stiff upper lip, fucking pull your collar up and get yourself up by your bootstraps and be a man about this. That still applies sometimes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, the new adage of masculinity and the new adage of being a man is now being able to go, hey, I know this sucks and I need to sit and process this and then go about this. And then we as men need to be able to be like, oh, okay, you need to process this. Talk. Let's talk it up.
And I wouldn't even say it's a new thing that I think it's just being talked about more, because I think we've always done this. That's why that's why men would always go on like hunting parties together. Yeah. Like they didn't just go out and just hunt on those hunting parties. No, you were able to be yourself and be a man, and you would talk about what's going on, you know.
Yeah.
Like when you were with just your men, the other men in your tribe or whatever. That was always something like, you know, they talk about a lot, like the campfires. You know, you'd sit around a campfire, have some drink, and you talk. You tell your stories. You say what's going on.
Yeah. That's
something we've always done. It's just we have less of that now because we don't ever just go out and sit at a campfire together.
Yeah. And I will, to add on that too, this goes on to another kind of big thing that happens is usually those things happen, the hunting trips, the hiking trips, all those stuff. And it's a way, and even in ancient times, there was a way for older men to show younger men how to do things and how to be men, right?
Yeah.
That's changed nowadays because now we're starting to see a very big level of fatherless men.
Yeah.
You know, because I can tell you right now, I taught myself how to shave.
Yeah.
Everything all the, like the person that basically taught me how to be a man was Goku and fucking Superman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, when it comes down to it, it's like, you have a bunch, it's usually the guys that don't know how to regulate their emotions, don't know how to talk about their feelings, and don't know that it's okay to talk about their feelings and have those. They grew up without a man in their life to actually show them that, hey man, or they did, and it was of someone who wasn't the best at showing that.
So that's something that I've actually been really interested and fascinated about recently, and I first read it in a book, King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. One of the best books I've ever read. Highly recommend. Men and women, but it's about male masculinity and like the different masculinity characteristics that we have. So all four of those are different masculinities that men have.
Yeah. And
what it talks about there is that there's no, like in modern times, there's no, like ceremony, coming of age, becoming a man. There's no transition from boyhood to manhood. So you see a lot of these guys, they stay in that boyish masculinity, and that's the unregulated emotions, all that stuff. Those are the guys you see that act like boys still, but they're full-grown men.
Yeah.
But there's no,
call me out, why don't you?
It's okay. But there's no, like, you know how like you look at some of the old tribes, it would always be like, hey, you're going on your first hunt, you're going to get your first kill. And that was your transition from, you're no longer a boy where you don't really have responsibilities. You're now, once you get that first kill, you're now a man, and you have responsibilities to this tribe now, where you have to provide, you have to defend, you know, all of this stuff. In modern day, we don't have that as much. Mm-hmm. I got it when I first joined the military, and it was kind of like, you basically, I was like, boot camp kind of mold you into some of it, but also just going into my first command, and then, you know, going off into war is like, all right, like, you're no longer a kid. Here's a rifle. You got to use it in case. So that kind of transitioned me from like, all right, like I was just a kid who didn't have any clue what was going on, and like was just like, all right, cool, whatever. And then now it's like, okay, like I have responsibility. But a lot of men don't get that.
Actually, strangely enough, because I got married very young. I got married at the age of 22. That I consider was my transition into manhood, because it wasn't so much that my wife was looking at me like, all right, come on, start taking the reins. No, it was her father. My father-in-law, Bill Redmond, good man, great man. Like I said, class 2, SWIG. He pulled me aside and he was like, so you want to marry my daughter? I said, yes, I do. And he went, are you ready to take that mantle on, or are you just saying that because you want to say that? Are you saying that because you're ready, or are you saying that because
you feel like it's
the right, you're ready?
Yeah.
And I went, I'm ready. That's what I want to do. And he goes, you better take care of her.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it's a very, strangely enough, it's not a very climactic thing. He didn't sit me down and go, like, you didn't say anything.
Get out of your heart. Like, you must eat from the heart.
Exactly.
That I killed.
It was very simple. Just, you better take care of her.
Yeah.
But if anyone knows Bill, one, knows that he's one of the kindest and nicest people, but when he wants to be serious and he wants to actually like drive something home, there's this thing I've noticed that when it comes to certain dudes who have seen shit, there's a switch in their eyes.
Yeah.
Right. And he's very light and easygoing. But the moment he told me, you better take care of her, it was a switch, and it was a darkness that was in his eyes that to this day, I'm like, I'm never going to cross you.
Yeah.
I'm never going to test that. I respect you so much. I'm going to do it. We've been married almost 12 years. We got married in 2014. And we've been together since 2010. So 16 years of being together. And yeah, we're still doing it. Better take care of her. I'm doing it. I'm trying. God.
Try not to let you down.
I'm trying not to. She makes it hard. Okay. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But yeah, it's like everyone has their transition. That was my transition. It was a thought process of like, hey, I no longer am just taking care of myself. I am taking care of a person. This person is relying on me to be able, and hey, guess what? You step up. You step up. And just the fact of the matter is that I've never cheated on my wife. I've been with her for 15 years, almost 16 years. And I can say that, hey, Abel, I can do it. Why can't you, buddy? Abel's my father. Sorry. But with that being said, I absolutely agree with you. And I think that, and then this isn't this archaic fucking like, we're not going to sit here and be like, we as men need to reclaim our power and be what we were beforehand. No, there's a new version of masculinity and manhood that needs to kind of flourish.
Well, I think there's this discussion that needs to be happening because because masculinity has kind of had this bad rap.
Yeah.
Because of perceptions of what masculinity is versus what it truly is.
Exactly.
So I think that conversation needs to be had more of like, oh no, masculinity is a good thing. We want masculinity in society, but this is the false masculinity that people have had. This is true masculinity. Yeah. And we need to build more people up to understand that. Both men and women need to understand that.
Yeah.
Because, we have to understand the differences between a feminine person and a masculine person. Like there is a difference. There's a purpose in society for both.
Exactly. One shouldn't have rights. I'm just kidding.
Everything just went to shit when we gave them.
That was fun, you guys. We had a blast. We're done with the podcast now. I'm joking. I apologize. I'm joking. But of course, there needs to be a clear, distinct difference in that. But I'm not. And again, there's no saying that one is wrong and one is right, one is best and one is bad. men have the ability to have a feminine energy as well as have the masculine energy. Women have the ability to flourish in a feminine energy, but also to hold a masculine energy as well. And it's understanding that there's a good balance and that there is a good way to be able to let one flourish while the other one doesn't completely die.
Yeah, and also understand what it actually is versus what it isn't. Exactly. I think that's the thing that needs to be done is you need to clearly define what is real masculinity, what is real femininity versus what isn't. What is the toxic stuff that society has been trying to get rid of? Yeah. So I think that needs to be said, because it's like, I think there is this push to kind of feminize everything a little bit more. And it's like, well, hold on, masculinity, it's needed. We need it. There's good things with masculinity. So I think that it needs to be clearly defined. And I think we need more people to be examples of it too. And more need to step forward and like come into the spotlight and be like, no, these people that are talking over here are nonsense. This is what it's like to be a true man.
I agree. With that being said, do you have anything else to add in?
Yeah, I just want to recap, some of the stuff we went over. Like, so when it comes to powerlifting, your mind is very, very powerful.
Very much so.
So if you are limiting yourself on what you can do going up to a lift, you're going to struggle. So you need to work on that as a powerlifter, somebody that's coming into the sport. And if you have lofty goals, like of trying to achieve something grand, you can't limit yourself mentally.
Exactly.
So if somebody comes up and tells you that, oh, you're genetically better to squat, but you can't deadlift, you're like, okay, fine, whatever. Don't listen to it.
Yeah.
Because
that's a moot point.
Yeah. Because you can't work past any sort of what maybe genetically puts you in a better position to be good at something, but you can still be great in whatever you really put your mind to.
Exactly. People can say that you have an affinity or you have a genetic disposition for this, but that doesn't mean that you yourself have to adhere to that. You can absolutely take limits off of yourself and not think about anything that other people will say, and you can build it however you want to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So try to remember that, getting into the sport, or if you've been in this sport for a while and you feel like you've hit a plateau, or you feel like I've done as best as I can do. No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
There's still work to be done. And also to reiterate, you're not alone. Yeah. Talk it out. Talk to your friends. Talk to those that you trust, and it's okay to be vulnerable. You're not gay. And if you are gay, there's something wrong with it. And you're not a pussy for being able to open up. So,
do you know what the term pussy comes from?
No.
So outside of the so that's not what it actually means. It actually is short for like Pussysyphilifus or something like that. But it basically it's an old term that was used to be used as like to tell somebody you're a coward.
Really?
So when you say that, you're not actually referring to the actual female genitalia. You're referring to this other word that they used to use. That was like basically you're a coward.
Gotcha.
Which is like how we use the term. But just so you know, we're not actually referring to the female genitalia, because we all love that.
Yeah, and I think
we love that female part of the women. We love that.
We all came from it.
We all came from it, and we all tried to get back to
it. And we're done. You guys take it easy. Thank you all.
Thank you guys.
Support us.
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
Yes, we're on YouTube now.
Yep. So go to YouTube, Meethead Manual there, as well as Spotify. Thank you all.